Peace and love, soul group. Peace and love. No theme music this week. No theme music this week. Jumping on a couple of minutes early. It's about 12:47 p.m. I'm Derek Dunlap. Welcome to another edition or episode to IMConscious Now What? And this is going to be a special message of urgency, not to violate the free will of anyone that will be partaking this energy or this frequency that I am going to submit and put back out to the universe. For those of you who are getting here a little earlier, as always, I am going to reconnect. I'm going to center. I find that it is imperative to connect to the certain frequencies and energy fields needed for me to broadcast the frequency and the message and the discernment, and to align myself with my higher self to deliver this message today. So let's get centered. Now, those of you who are not centered, you can center with me. We're just going to do this by just breathing, just realigning our focus, realigning ourselves to a frequency that is calm, cool, and collective, if that's what you choose to reside in. Join me, if you may. For those of you who are beginners, you are just sitting calm in a flat back chair, as I am in now. Try to keep your back straight. Your hands could rest on your knees or on the armrest of the chair. And just focus on your breathing. This is the easiest way to center. Just give all of your attention, if you can. It's going to be a little tricky because I'm speaking. But just focus on your breathing, the breath of life, the breath that connects you to this space, this piece of energy that we call reality, or the third dimension, or the fourth dimension. We're connected here by that in-breath. Another deep breath. Let go, soul group. Let go of any insecurities, any doubt, any ill will, any fears, any distractions. Just focus on the coolness of the in-breath coming through your nostrils. Let's do that. Focus on the coolness of the breath. Visualize everything that is not serving you in this present moment being blown out of your beingness. Into a space that won't interrupt or interfere with any other beings. One more breath, deep breath, the breath of life. It connects you here to this present moment awareness, aware that you are alive right now. There it is. I am connecting. I am weightless. I am love. I am perfect. I am peace. I am high vibration. I am wealthy in energy and substance. I am whole. Everything is perfect. Right now, everything is perfect. I am blissful. Come on, soul group. Talk to your higher self. Be your own cheerleader. I am meekness. I am gratitude. I'm grateful for this space right now. There's nothing fucking with me. I am high off prana. I am high off the life. I am loved by so many. I am non-duality. I am always what I say I am. And I am mindful of my I amness. I am conscious, intelligent energy. There is no instrument that can measure me. There is no mountain too high for me to climb. There is no vibration that I cannot reside in. I am. I am. Say that with me now. Say it. I am. And let your consciousness just roam. Let go. I am. Let go. I am. Don't attach anything to it. Just let it go. I am. Let it travel. I am. I am. No attachments. I am. Can you feel it? I am. I am. I am. I am connected. I am. Oh, wow. I get tears in my eyes. I am connected. Wow. That's the greatest gift that I could ever give anyone, is the ability to stay connected. Now, today's live stream will be the same in format. But the message that I have today, it comes from a space that I created. I've been working on this space for about almost 2 years now. And all of this week, I have been doing what some of you have heard this term is called shadow work. If you haven't heard the term shadow work, from my perspective, there's a lot of different perspectives on shadow work. I am totally aware of my energy. My energy. I'm not talking about attachments and, you know, different entities that attach to you. And no. I'm talking about my energy field. I am so sensitive and aware of my whole scope of me being conscious energy. Okay? Big difference. So it's my energy. And I have, in this realm of energy, especially in this incarnation, I have attached certain emotions, right? Because it's all emotions and thoughts when you get to the core essence of who you are. Nothing is physical. There's thoughts, there's emotions, there's circumstances that we attach in various energy fields in the scope of the wholeness of what we are. Our existence is conscious energy. And I just want you to make this simple. I want you to visualize your energy field as one of the old-fashioned the radio screen. You know how you used to see the numbers on the old radio screens, like they'll start from, it's a long line and you turn the dial. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And there's different radio waves that it picks up. As you turn that dial, you'll tune in to one frequency, right? And then it'll come in, and then as you keep turning that dial, visualize that, okay? So you can get kind of an understanding of what I'm talking about when I visualize myself as energy and different frequencies and different, when I say dimensions, it's kind of like that radio dial, okay? We have energy bodies, light bodies, emotional bodies, mental bodies. People say your higher self. There's all these variations of energy that all combined into one field, okay? And what I've been doing all week, because I felt myself being out of alignment, almost like a car. You know, you can get in your car and you can start that car up, and that car up, it'll run, right? But you know when it's time to get a tune up, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You know when the car is sluggish and it's running a little shaky and it's surging. That's how we run around as souls sometimes. You know, we get anxious, we get emotional. You know what I mean? We're happy one minute and then we're sad, and then you know what I'm saying, right? They call us manic depressants because we're multidimensional and we have the ability to turn that dial. Okay, we don't have to stay on one frequency or one radio station, right? We can go up and down that dial, right, of dimensions. All right, you're not a manic depressant, you're not crazy. You just have the ability to jump from my example, one radio station to another anytime you want with the speed of thought. Okay, where one-dimensional people stay on one station. Does this make sense to kind of help you to understand who you are right now? You're waking up. You're waking up to choices. Okay. So I've been doing shadow work, and I was led back to a space that I used to go to probably about a year ago. And it's way down in my basement. I got an old recording booth adjacent to my studio, and it's soundproof. You can close the door. It's insulated. There's no sound getting in there. And if you don't turn on the light, it's pitch black. And I don't know, I was just led to go down there. It's hard to explain. You need to go down there because in this particular day, I was talking to a close brother of mine, and I had just told him, man, hey, Gary, I feel like I'm in survival mode. Okay. And we all know what that means for each one of us. Survival mode to me is when I allow my ego to analyze my beingness based on zeros in the bank account, accomplishments in the physical. I'm just being honest. You guys know I ain't gonna bullshit you, right? I'm just honest with mine, right? You know, just physical things. And we all get there if we're honest with ourselves. We all get there to a point, especially when you're married and you have a soulmate that's in her emotional body at times too. Hey, we are all part human here, right? Learning how to be these energy beings that we so desire and want to be, but it's a process. And so I remember telling that brother, man, I'm in survival mode, man, you know, coming from my root chakra, trying to figure out ways to generate more ideas, more manifestations, to get more in the physical. And I'm not saying that from a good or bad or right or wrong. That's where I was. And when I'm in that frequency, okay, I'm all over the place. In my case, okay, have you ever ran into a very, very good salesperson? Right? They're usually in a salesperson that only gets paid on commission. If you want to know what that frequency feels like when you walk into a store and you get one foot in the store and somebody, hey, can I help you? How can I help you? That's survival mode. That urgency to close, you know what I mean? To produce, to manifest, right? That's like survival mode. And half of the planet, more than half, 90% of the planet is in survival mode. And there's nothing wrong with being in survival mode because the planet is geared to keep you in survival mode, to keep you working, right? To keep you desiring things. So if I only get to 1 million, everything will be okay. Then we get to 1 million. And then if I only had 2 million, and it never stops. You'll be a billionaire if I can only get to 2 billion. It never stops. It was designed to be that way. So to make a long story short, after I had that conversation with my brother, I just got this feeling to go down to my studio. When I usually start feeling like this, I'll go down and I'll write some music and I'll play some strings or, just create music. So I went down to the studio and I was just going to turn on my microphone and just speak into the microphone. And I went into this vocal booth and it was pitch black. I mean, it was so black, I was trying to find a light switch in there. And I went in there and I closed the door. And my higher self was just saying, be still. And when I closed that door, I just slid down the wall. And I was in my own void, a man-made void that I created. Soundproof vocal room is pitch black. Pitch black. Okay, and most people are scared of the darkness. And as I sat in that room, I began to breathe. The only thing that I know how to do. There's nothing else to do. There's no computers. There's not even sound getting into this room. There's no light. It's just a void. And I began to breathe. And I began to rhythmic breathe. And out of nowhere, after about, 10 or 15 minutes, I got this rhythm going, right? And out of nowhere, this beam of light shot out of my forehead. And it was so profound because my eyes were open, like my physical eyes were open. And I could see this beam, but the beam wasn't coming from my eyes. It was coming from my brow chakra. And I closed my eyes and I could still see that beam of light shining in the darkness. Wow, this is profound. Stay with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to deliver this one. And I just sat on that floor and I began to focus on that beam of light. I just focused on that beam of light, and that beam of light started to circle. It was just circling. And the more I focused, the faster the circle starts circling. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it circled and it started coming near me and near me and near me and near me. And it was like it just connected right with my brow chakra. And instantly, once again, I was taken to what I'll just describe as a vortex, a spinning vortex of energy. And I remember feeling my energy body activating. And I stayed in this vortex, and this vortex kept spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And then this vortex started to slow down. Excuse the dogs. It's okay. We're going to continue. It slowed down and it slowed down. And I found myself in a space. And at the time, this space seemed familiar, but very, what's the word? Different. I'll just use different to keep it simple. And I began to visualize different images and thoughts and emotions. And as I visualize these emotions, I once again started to become these emotions. I'm trying to find the English to really take you to where I was. I became my thoughts and my emotions. It was kind of like not a life review. It wasn't that fast like a life review. But to keep it simple, each thought was intended for me to think that thought again. I'll give you an example. So you'll know where I was. I had the thought of a particular being that I was in a relationship with. And when I thought of that thought, it took me right back to that exact moment in the illusion of time. I became that thought. I replayed that thought, but from the non-physical realms, if this makes sense. And that particular being was in front of me, kind of like a hologram. And that whole scene was replayed over. And I could feel everything just like it happened. I could hear, I could feel, I could smell. It was just so surreal. It was so serene. And after the event played out, I don't want to get into too much detail about it. It's my personal journey, but I'm trying to explain what happened with this shadow work. I had a choice after it replayed out that I could allow the energy and the emotion that I created in this situation to stay the way that it was, or I could change. It was almost like, what did you learn from this? And I was first person. It's so weird. It wasn't like I was looking at a life review. I was first person. I was the energy. I was the thought. I was the emotion. Heck, I could have even been, you know what I mean? The soul in non-duality that I was hurting, that was actually feeling the pain that I caused myself, projecting as another being. Okay. And what I began to do, somehow I just knew this. You can, when you're in the non-physical realms, you are the feeling. You're not feeling with your hands. You feel everything. It's so weird. Its language is so limited to describe this, but I could feel what to do next. I didn't have to think. I was the thought. Does that make sense? And I began to change. I began to do my shadow work to change the energy that I created in that circumstances. Instead of walking away and leaving this soul crying from the hurt and the pain that I caused, I remember hugging this being and telling this being, I love you and I'm sorry. And I could feel, as I was hugging this being, I could feel the energy changing. It was changing. And I remember when I let this being go and I looked into this being's eyes, I could see like everything is cool now. Like, thank you. It's weird. And it's, the being didn't say that, but that's what I felt, And as she moved away and I connected with the eyes, the vortex came back, the white light, and it started spinning. It was spinning again. And so I just knew to just focus on the light. And as it spin and spin and spin and spin, and it'll get faster and faster, it might work a little different. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it came and it came and it came right back, and I connected to it. And once again, I was in the vortex. Okay, so I'm going to skip. I'm not going to tell you, but I visited and revisited dozens of energy fields and emotional fields from my emotional body in this incarnation, that I had a chance to make it right, to change the energy that I attach to thoughts and circumstances. But the one that was so profound, I got this vision as I was coming out of this. And this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. I got this vision. Help me, higher self, to help me to find the right words and the right frequencies so that everyone can get the essence and the perspective from what I'm trying to deliver right now. I got this vision from a perspective of a higher being. Now, this particular energy was not my own. I wasn't in my energy field. This was not a part of my energy. Yeah, it's safe to say that. This was not something that I won't say that. I won't say that. I'm not 100% sure that this was not a part of my energy, because I'm learning all of these things, but it was a little different from these thoughts and emotions that I caused upon other souls in this incarnation. Okay, it was just a little, it felt different. Let me leave it like that. But what I saw billions of rats. I saw billions of rats, just rats, right? Billions of rats. And I saw, it was weird, but I saw these little, I'll just call them pebblets, that were falling from a higher space. And these pebblets were falling down on these rats. And these rats were eating these little pebblets. It was almost like it was raining on them. And these rats were eating these pebblets. And I mean, it was billions. And they were eating these pebblets. And what was so disturbing, they were fighting over these pebblets. They were like maiming each other over these. They were actually killing each other over these pebblets. And these pebblets were falling from a higher space down on these rats. They were rats. And I was just observing, just observing. And this went on. This went on for a long time. And what was happening was, as they were eating these pebblets, I noticed that they were dying. But it was so many rats that it was like they would die off, and then new rats would come in and begin to eat the pebblets. And they would die off, and new rats would come in to eat the pebblets. And this cycle just kept going on and on and on in this illusion of time. And eventually there were no rats left. And it was just like a blank space. And I sat there for a minute and I didn't understand. And so I said, higher self, give me understanding, give me discernment. Why am I seeing this vision from this perspective? And my higher self gave me the discernment of the rats were from the perspective. Now, this is going to hurt a lot of you. And this is just something that I've experienced. And I'm not saying it's the right way or the wrong way. This is just what I experienced. The rats were humanity. And these peblets that were being fed to humanity were from higher conscious beings. And driving this message home, and you heard me say this, but now is the time that you heard me say this a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, we're being killed off in this physical because we're immortal. We never die. And I'm going to drive this home so you can understand why I made this urgent live stream and why I asked the question, have you begun to start creating your non-physical space? Okay. We're being strategically fed poison. Strategically, this is not by accident. And you heard this message, but I'm going to drive it home in a way so that when you get off of this live stream, the ball is in your court. The ball is in your court and the ball is in my court. Okay. I just had this vision. So, but it was never like this. We are being strategically fed poison from the higher beings that are trying to hold on to control in this dimension, which was created by, are you ready? Higher beings. I'll give you a word that might ring a bell. Okay. And there's a lot of different words to describe these beings that created this reality that we reside in with this flesh. The Elohim, the gods, created this realm which some call earth. Some think the earth is round. Some think the earth is flat. This realm was created. These bodies that we are in right now have been, without a shadow of a doubt, genetically modified, people. It is what it is. The chakra system that is in place in these bodies now, because I know the difference. I have the ability to get out of body and come back into body. And when I come back into body, as good as I try to make it sound, to keep my balance here, to keep me from just, blowing through the threshold of all understanding of this physical stuff and just hang out in the non-physicals and sever the cord, right? Which people would call he's insane. He doesn't fit in. Your chakra systems have been strategically designed to keep you in a certain vibrational frequency range, which we call Earth. Strategically done. All right? Strategically done. Now, let me get back to the food. If you are not reading, and even sometimes reading don't do you justice, because this government, this group of people who say what's good for us to eat and pass the laws, I can't even think of the name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. It's a crooked organization that you can pay off, and they'll let you put anything in the grocery stores, that whatever you want if you got enough money. I can't think of the name right now, but you guys know what I'm talking about. They are literally killing us off prematurely with poison. So if you're not going into these grocery stores and turning that box around and really reading what you are putting into your cellular body. I'm going to say it. It's going to hurt some of you, but I have to say it. And this goes for me too. You are a goddamn fool. And I'm going to leave it like that. Some of you read the tags on your clothing and your shoes and the specs on the cars that you're buying and the specs on the homes that you live in more than we read the goddamn labels on the food that we're eating. And what this is doing, soul group, okay? This is causing us to quote unquote die in the cellular version of ourselves prematurely. Now, why do they want us to die in this cellular human form prematurely? Okay, because they're trying to wipe out all of the organic ascension. We don't live as long as we used to. The longer you stay in the cellular body, the more you become conscious to past lives, the more time you have to wake up, to plan your ascension, to start building your non-physical realms, which you will reside in after you sever the cord that connects the body to the astral body. Those of you who have made it this far in this incarnation, there's a cord attached to you that keeps you connected to this artificial, genetically modified cellular body with built-in energy centers that keep you vibrating, or most of us trapped in the lower root chakra, which is what? Survival mode, work mode. Work, get money, pay the bills, keep breeding like animals, lust, fucking, sucking. It was planned. This is not the origin. I even heard, now this is not from my experience, this is just some things that I've heard, that this body that we have has like hundreds of aliens, different aliens. The word alien is just, they use extraterrestrial, just highly ascended conscious beings that have gotten past this physical form, this physical reality that the Elohim has created, and it's been taken over by different entities. The gods in English. You read about the gods. This is genetically modified on purpose. Am I saying hate this? No. Hate is too heavy to hold as a frequency. But I'm doing this live stream so you will know exactly what you're dealing with. This simulation that we are in right now was created by conscious beings. And what I'm telling you and what I'm trying to drive home, you have the ability to create your own non-physical realities. Why aren't we doing it? Why are we stuck? It's because we're trapped in a system that won't allow us enough time in the illusion of time, right? To go to the void, a dark space, sit and be still and breathe and get that vortex, that little light. If you read in the Bible, it says in the beginning, there was darkness. And the God said, let there be light. It's that little vortex of light. It comes from the pineal gland when it's activated. And whatever you think and whatever you focus on, it becomes in the non-physical. And if you get enough of us, see, the gods were the Elohim. There were gods, not just one, right? This is why you see as above, so below. You got churches, you got groups. It takes groups of individuals to create these realities, because we all have to be on one accord, using our power to focus on one thing, and it becomes. In the non-physical realm, you should see the energy that the religious churches have created. You can't even move the energy. You can't even, this sounds foreign to some of you, but in the non-physical realms, you can see the energy, what the church, the organized church has created. You can't move it. You can't play with that energy because it's too strong. It's too many minds coming together to make this energy. You can't move it. If this sounds foreign, in the non-physical realms, I can go to a space and I could focus on my pineal gland, and I could think of, just to keep it, an apple, and that apple will appear. And I can mold and shape that apple, this energy that I'm playing with, into whatever I want it to be. Okay. But if I went to the energy where the church is, I can't shape that energy. I can't move that energy. I can't, because there's too many souls that have come together that believe in religion that makes this energy. You can't move it. Or at least I can. I'm not strong enough. Now, there's probably some beings that can, but because people believe, you are what you believe. So what I'm trying to say to some of you who are on that level, who are ready to transition, start creating your non-physical space. Now, how do you do this? And why is this so important? Let me tell you why it's so important now. And I'm not a doom and gloom man, because we never die as far as the highest aspect of what we are. Now, you have to ask yourself, beyond closed doors, when it's just you in that dark space, try this. Because my stuff is simple. My stuff is not complex. But one thing I can say, it works. At least it works for me. And I'm not a very complicated, scientific type person. But I work with the abilities that are given to me that I'm waking up to. That's why I was telling people to go to the closet, because I know now, because the closet is dark. In order for your pineal gland to actually kick in, well, you'll see it. Go to total darkness and deal with your shadow self, your shadow, the shadow side of you, your energy. I'm not talking about attachments. You can get clear I'm talking about dealing with you, the energy that you have created in this incarnation that keeps you out of alignment. You know what I'm talking about. We all have it. Deal with that lower self of you that you don't like dealing with, that you try to stay in this blissful energy all the time, and you kind of turn your back on things that you've been through. Because you can turn away from them, but they don't go nowhere. You're just a trigger away from that shadow self of yourself. And we all know what it is, whether you get pleasure from it or not. Some of us, we hurt from our shadow selves. We're hurt. So we don't like to sit in that energy. We're hurt. I don't want to go there. It hurts. I cry. I don't like how it feels. You have to deal with that. I'm not violating your free will. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you it's going to be harder for you to create your non-physical space that you'll be able to go to when you sever the cord of the physical body. And if you're conscious beings, you know what I'm talking about. When you sever that cord, okay, you'll be able to go, you'll be in the habit of going to that space that you're working on. So you won't be caught up in this church energy, because there's a space in the non-physical realms for the church. They're going to all ascend and go to whatever they believe. When they sever that cord, they are all gathering based on vibration, will, desire, and belief. And that energy is huge. in the non-physical realms. You got the church, you got the Muslims, you got the Latter-day Saints. There's a space for, if you're free will, you can go anywhere. You don't have to be stuck in. That's how we ended up here. We're stuck in a space. Our free will was I'm not going to say taken from us because they can't, but we were tricked out of our free will to keep incarnating over and over and over again, being fed rat poison to keep us dying at 40 and 30 and we got kids dying of brain cancer now. Why? So they can reincarnate. The agenda is to create a superhuman. Okay? To create a superhuman being, consciousness connected to artificial intelligence. So they want you to cut that cord and not know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are and you haven't prepared a space, you're going to a space that's already prepared for you. Trust me, you're going to follow the light. I'm explaining to you as meek and as kind as I can be. You must create your own light. It comes right out of this gland right here. Okay, this pineal gland. When you get in darkness and you sit with your shadow self in that darkness long enough, you're going to be able to clear up all of that energy that's out of alignment. But you got to go to the void. You got to face yourself. You got to overcome what you fear. And that's dealing with self. You know why prisoners go insane when they throw them in the hole? Think about this now. You know why they go insane when they throw them in that hole for 30 days? Because they have to deal with themselves. They call them demons that's in you. That's just the word they use. They don't have, there's no light in there. And what happens? That fucking pineal gland kicks on. And they're taken back to those murders, all of those people that they killed. They can't deal with it. They go, you know what I'm saying? You guys feeling me? What I'm trying to drive home to. They can't deal with the murders that the families that they killed and all of the wrong that you have to deal with that before you can really inhabit this light body. That's why they call it a light body, an energy body. It's light, it's free. Now, is this fun? Depends on perspective. I had to revisit a lot of situations that weren't comfortable for me in this incarnation, including myself. I hurt myself. I had to make it right. I had to change that energy. I had to go do that shadow work. That shadow work. That's just the word I'm using when I say shadow. That shit that's in the closet. So we have to deal with that, because if we don't deal with that, I'm almost just looking at my journey now. I don't have to look at nobody else's journey. Based on my journey, if I'm not meeting my shadow self head on and identifying what's fucking with me, what's holding me down, what's triggering my emotional body to get all out of whack, right? It ain't demons, something from the outside coming in. It's you. It's me. It's our emotions. It's our thoughts. See, that's the trick. You got a demon in you. You can't clear you. You have to live with you in the darkest of the dark and in the lightest of the light. It's you. It's me. It's our energy. Can't nobody clear your energy. It's you. It's the thoughts and the emotions that you have conjured from situations, circumstances, and events. Are you understanding? So this is why you've been hearing me say, go to your secret space. Go back to the void. What's the void? Any dark closet. Shut yourself in for 2 or 3 hours. 4 or 5 hours. What do you do in the closet, Derek? Nothing. Shut up and just breathe. And what happened without any of your, you can't mess this up. Trust me, you can't mess this one up. When you in total darkness in that closet, put a towel under that door. Don't let no light get in that closet. That pineal gland is going to kick in. It's going to kick in. And light going to shine right out your forehead and across, and it's going to illuminate that whole room. Now, one or two things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to let it envelop you. Or number two, you're going to panic. I'm a realist. First time it happened to me, I panicked. You can't turn that third eye. Got the fuck up out of that closet quick. Had carpet burns on my knees and my elbows. I wasn't used to it. Nobody ever taught me that. I just was in darkness one day and I sat there long enough and my third eye turned on. It looked like a flashlight shining out of your forehead. And it just wasn't until this week, and I just share my journey with you guys because we got this little intimate group. I went back because I was once again back in survival mode. The Matrix was kicking my ass. You know, accounts being hacked, things that I'm manifesting, you know, they manifest and then they go away. And then I'm trying to manifest more things to please this physical part, which is what? Are you ready? Which is dying. And from my higher perspective, I want this to die. Because this cord, remember me saying on a previous live stream, I can only go so high. And when I say high, I mean vibration high in this body. I can only go so far. And now I understand that. Because for the first time, I had never saw my cord until about a couple days ago. I had never saw my cord. A lot of people have seen they call them their astral cord or whatever names they got. I had never saw my cord. I just knew I could only go so high in vibration, and it was like I was stuck. You know what I mean? Then I would have to come back, right? The reason why that cord is there, from my perspective, it keeps you attached to the genetically modified the cellular memory that you inherit generations and generations. This shit is genetically modified. You getting it from your daddy. He getting it from his daddy. You getting it from your mama, your grandmama, your grandfather. It's connected purposely. And the chakra system is already installed to keep you vibrating in a frequency that simulates this reality right here. How do I know this? Because I sat in a dark room long enough for my own light to kick in to take me to a different reality. I've experienced it. I've experienced it. So I'm telling you from experience and the urgency. This is the great deception. This is what they're keeping from you and me. They don't want you to tap into your own. Once this kicks in, and once your belief system starts changing, I mean, really changing, because we say that shit all the time. I am consciousness. I am higher self. Right? And as soon as that shadow shit kick in, it just, you forgot what you said. Oh, I'm hurt. And I'm just keeping it real because I go through it too. But one thing I can tell you that they'll never be able to take this from you when you experience this. When you go back to the void. The void is that clean sheet of paper that I talk about. Nothingness. Just your consciousness and darkness. And when you tap in to your ability to create, you are a God. A fallen God in what? Consciousness, vibration. It ain't a good or a bad thing. That's kind of, you know what I mean? You can have some shadow. Let's just say we all got some shadow stuff we have to work on, okay? Right? But from an energy perspective, right? You got high and low. That's polarity. So there's no good and bad in high and low energy. It's just you're going to reside in one of them based on your vibration and the level of your consciousness. So if you're incarnating over and over again and your will and desire is based on corporate America, you're going to lack major shit in consciousness. You're just going to follow the light. They already got a ram prepared for you. Everybody's going through this ram and they kicking your ass back into a reality that's already created for you. Aren't we tired of that? I am. I'm tired of that. I'm a free will being. I have the ability to create my own realities if I take the time in the illusion of time to do it. You have to take what's rightfully yours. You heard this before, right? You're hearing this from an African American in cellular memory man. You could be a Caucasian man. You could be a Chinese man or woman. You could be an Arabic man. You could be an Indian man. You could be a Jewish man. We have all had trials and tribulations in the cellular physical body where we had to take what was rightfully ours. And that's our free will to be and create whatever we will and desire, as long as we don't violate the free will of other beings. We got shadow work to do, soul group. I know I do, because I know I'm not done, but I know why I was drove down to my basement, cobwebs everywhere. It was, from a cellular perspective, it was like a fucked up situation for me to be down in that. It was like a picture of vocal booth. No sound can get in, no light can get in. And it's just, listen, it was so dark. It took me probably 5 minutes to get out of there. I couldn't find the fucking door to get out. Once I got in there and started meditating and had all of these visions, maybe 45, maybe an hour later, I couldn't get out because I couldn't find the entrance to the room. It was that dark. It was no light. Darkness. We've been taught that darkness is an evil thing. It's in every book. We've been taught that darkness is evil. Great deception. Everything started from the void. Everything started from the darkness and the imagination. Everything started from nothing. Everything started from a thought. Are you controlling your thoughts, or are you being manipulated by artificial intelligence to think and be and breathe and vibrate at an artificial frequency that keeps you trapped in 3 or 4 or 5th density? Do you even want to create your own reality, or are you fine living in a reality created by another conscious being? Are you a god or a goddess, or are you just a slave to whatever is going on? As above, so below. You got people right now that just depend on the government to send them a check every month. They cool with that. If you cool with that, I'm not violating your free will. In the non-physical realms, it'll be the same way. You will be a slave and you will be manipulated by higher conscious vibrating beings. You'll fit into wherever they want you to fit in at. This is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's going on. And then you got beings like myself, which in the Matrix, I got a GED. You get what I'm saying? But I'm so powerful. I'm so powerful because I will and desire to go above and beyond the realm that they've created for us. I've been past the threshold. I've broken free organically, not bragging, but break free any way you can break free. Some of you do mushrooms, some of you do DMT. There's a lot of different. Some of you like aliens. You know what I mean? Aliens have helped me to break. When I say aliens, that's a code that we created for a green plant that raises the vibration in your consciousness. I was introduced to that from a dear brother that I love, and it has helped me so much. Okay, but in moderation, and you got to have the right aliens. You can't have these genetically modified aliens that you smoking on. You ain't going nowhere. Okay, I'm talking about organic aliens, marijuana from the organic strands that's been here for thousands of years, not this genetically modified stuff. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I had to do this live stream. I was gonna bring a special guest on today, but this just happened to me. That vision of rats from the perspective of these higher beings. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. In the condition that we are in now with this cellular body that we inherited from our forefathers and from our blood being all tainted and crossbreed. We've been crossbreeded. We test tube rats. I'm just keeping it real. On a planet that's been strategically created to crossbreed these different variations of what we call humanity. It is what it is. Either you can accept it or you can be whatever you want to be. But I like to look at things. I like to take things just the way they are and deal with them. We got all kind of bloodlines in us. Most of us. The people that are running the planet have one bloodline. Okay, on purpose. And they're manipulating us to keep this reality powered. We are the energy that's powering this reality against. No. Let me catch that. Align with our free will, because they've tricked us to give up our free will and reside here. How did they do that? Because we believe that we are humans. We believe that we got to get up and go to work every day, or we don't exist. We believe this shit. I did. I used to believe if I didn't get up and go to work, then I was a fuck up, a failure, and I didn't deserve to have the gift of the life. That I was just a piece of shit. I believe that. And some of you believe that now. That if you're not into this corporate scheme of things, getting up at a certain time, punching the clock, and getting that paycheck, and letting Uncle Sam, the organized crime, take their 30% right up off the top. And they just breeding their family. Their family's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And our families are just being separated and manipulated. We have to deal with this soul group, at least our soul group. We have to take the responsibility and become who we know we are. Full throttle. It's time to mash on the gas and get back to that secret place that I've been telling you about. It's going to all come together when it'll all come together. Everything that Brother Bubba has been saying, everything that Brother Don is where I haven't even been able to get Brother Don back on the show because he's so busy clearing people. When you could just clear yourself, clear your own energy field by basically just sitting in your own energy, going back to the void, allowing the pineal gland to be activated properly. And dealing with that shit, changing the emotion and the energy that you once resided in. Time is linear. We've been telling y'all this. It's linear. You can go back. You can defy time in the non-physical realms. Now I'm going to end on this. For those of you who get to this space, how do you create? What is a non-physical space? And why is your non-physical space so important? Okay. I downloaded this information. Some people call it the Akashic. I just call it my higher self. I'm not real big into have you heard of this name? I just know I get it from a non-physical higher frequency that I reside in. When I don't understand, I just say higher space, higher self. I'm sorry. Give me discernment. And I just sit and be still. And I download it or I'll get visions, or I'll get symbols. And then if I don't understand the symbols, higher self, help me to understand. I'm open to receive. And it just makes sense. I don't have to figure it out. It just makes sense. It just does. Okay. So the non-physical space is so important because when you cut the cord to your body, this is how advanced civilizations don't have to reincarnate back into this genetically modified body that's being controlled by bloodlines. All right. They struck a deal to get this. The baddest technology on the planet right now is this body that we live in. It was genetically modified. Okay. It's connected to a computer system that defies all logic. Okay. They struck a deal with higher conscious beings that don't incarnate back into this body. Okay. They have energy bodies, non-physical bodies, right? And our physical bodies we're the puppets. They can control. We're energy trapped in these genetically modified bodies. I'm not saying hate your body because hate is too heavy. I'm just saying understand what's going on. And once you have understanding of what's really going on, then you can take the necessary actions to free yourself, to free your mind, not your physical self. Don't try to say, well, I'm not going to violate your free will. What profit a man to gain everything in this illusion and to lose the connection of your solar essence of who you are? That's what that means. What profit a man to gain the whole world and lose your soul? What would you give in exchange for your infinite space that you're going to reside in? Do you want to live inside a fucking computer? Or do you want to be free? To whatever you think of, it becomes, and you partake. Do you want to surround yourself with free will beings, or do you want to live inside of a computer that defies all logic and reason, but is still artificial intelligence? The choice is yours. I'm working on my choice daily as I fight to hold on to enough balance where I can still communicate with those of you who are just waking up. Yeah, I'm crazy. I've accepted that I'm crazy than a motherfucker because I'm not one-dimensional. I see things multi-dimensional. And the average man doesn't understand or can't even hold my frequency or can't even have a conversation with me anymore. Can't even look me in my eyes anymore because my vibration, I can go there. And I'm not scared. I'm not afraid of the dark. I embrace the dark. I embrace the darkness. Okay. Okay. Enough. We had enough today. I'm rewinding. I'm playing with time now. I'm rewinding. Oh, okay. How do you create? How do you start to create your non-physical space? Okay. It's stages to this, but you don't have to take the same steps that because my steps were not organized steps. They just happen. You understand what I'm saying? This is not, it has to be this way. There's no certain way that you have to take to create a non-physical space, but you got to get there. You see what I'm saying? You have to get there. And just unfortunately, and the reason why I say this is because it doesn't have to happen this way. There's unlimited ways that you can get to this space. But unfortunately, in my case, in this incarnation, I always had to hit rock bottom. Now, this will be different from different people. You understand? I'm one of those people in this incarnation. I always had to learn things the hard way. I couldn't just take somebody's word for it. You know what I mean? That's just how I am. I'm okay with that. Right. So my road is always the tough road. That doesn't have to be your road. You understand what I'm saying? Some of you will just take heed to what I'm saying today, and you won't even have to go to those valleys of the shadow of death. Right. Near death experiences to get this. You see what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real. You don't have to. But now if you are like I am, and a lot of people are like me, then you'll hit rock bottom and you have nowhere else to go. And you just, you know what I mean? That's just my journey. And I'm okay with that. I embrace it. The easiest way to start creating your non-physical space, because the reason why this space is going to be so important, if you sever the cord from your physical body and you have not broke through the threshold of the non-physical realms. What do I mean by that? This is consciousness, right? If you haven't broke through the threshold that separates the physical reality from the non-physical, if that's not in your consciousness, in your heart space, that there's two realities, not that they say it's a non-physical or they say it's a Santa Claus. So you get what I'm saying? We've been mind fucked so bad that, the babies come in and we mind fucking them, telling them it's a Santa Claus and it's the Easter bunny. They never saw Santa Claus. They never saw the Easter bunny. We just tell them, and so they believe that. And so there's a lot of souls that think the astral realms is real because someone told them it was. You see what I'm saying? They haven't experienced it. Once you experience it, no one can take that from you. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to experience it. And the only way to break free from the non-physical realms is you have to take your will and desire to exist, to be a professional athlete. You know, that will and desire that it takes to be a professional athlete or a professional music composer or a professional lawyer or a multi-millionaire. You have to take that will and desire and point it to the non-physical realms, and you'll get there. You'll get there. Nothing can stop you. It ain't no secret. Anybody can do this, but you have to take your will and your desire to break through the threshold of this illusionary physical a ram that we call Earth. You got to break through the threshold. You got to get rid of fear. I'm telling you, you never die. Now, how does that reside with you? When I say you never die, you have to determine who or what you are. Because if you still believe that you are, and I'm not taking anybody's free will, I'm just driving this, I'm beating this nail through the wood today. If you still believe, and this is how funny this is now. And I'm just laughing because I'm free. I'm free, ladies and gentlemen. I'm free. I'm free. I'm laughing because it's funny now, but I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing from, the veil that's been poured over us for so long. If you still believe that you are a human being, and when you die, there's a juggling of where you're going to exist, then you have some work to do. From my perspective, not violating your free will, you have some work to do with self, with I am self. You have some work to do. You have And I urge you to start to take action now. Why do you have to take action now? Why do you have to get to this non-physical space now? Because if you cut that cord to the body and you reincarnate and you're coming back as an artificial, intelligent, conscious being mixed, they gonna hybrid your ass. Because you don't know who you are. So somebody's gonna say, okay, this is who you are. Connect. You don't know, you're gonna agree to it. You're going to agree to be a superhuman. Don't say you're not, because you are. Don't say you're not, because you are. You're working now. I could say I'm not all I want, but if I don't get to this space of consciousness now while I'm connected to this body, when I'm severed from this body and I experience the non-physical realms for the first time, it's going to be too overwhelming for you to make a conscious, focused decision. They're going to trick you into becoming a conscious, artificial, intelligent super being. And once you make that connection, whew, damn. I'm just sitting in that energy right now. I hate to say it, but I don't see or feel a return from that. The technology is just that good. I got to give credit where credit is due. The technology is just that good now. I don't see or feel a return right now in this space. So I urge you, peace and love, soul group. I urge you just to take heed of the simplicity of the emotional energy that I'm attaching to this live stream on how imperative it is for you to start creating your non-physical space. It's just as simple as, this is simple. You go to total darkness. Okay, some of you sleep with your computers on, you sleep with your cell phones on, you sleep with the television on. Your third eye is not going to kick in like that. And I mean, I can do it now, but it's harder for even me, and my third eye is wide open. If I got a light on or a light in the room, this artificial light is fucking us up. Your third eye was designed to come on in darkness. Think about it. When the body is sleeping, the eyes are closed, the third eye kicks in. But some of you work so much, you so tired, you so exalted, you on so much medication that's prescribed to the doctor, you just pass out. You're not conscious of the third eye kicking on. So what I'm trying to show you today is how you can be fully awake and activate the third eye, the pineal gland, in a dark, pitch black space. Some of you, it might take 2 hours. It might take an hour for it to kick in, but I promise you, it will work. If you're diligent enough to sit there and be still, just focus on your breathing and wait for the vortex. It might start off as like a little blue vortex, little particles of energy might conjure together right before you. They'll conjure right before you. Focus on them. Focus your will and desire, and then they'll start to form this intelligent, I just call it a vortex because it'll start spinning. You'll see it. I promise you'll see it. Let it envelop you. No fear. Go wherever it takes you. And from there, you'll be able to tap into what we label the imagination. See, once you get out of the physical realm, it's what you think. This is why we've been telling you for almost a year to start meditating and to start taking back your thoughts. Be conscious of what you're thinking about. Never let your mind just wander. You don't let your little babies just wander in the street. So why do we let our minds just wander on garbage? Because we've been raised that way from internet, reality television, the music. It just takes our mind on a ride, a roller coaster ride. We have to bring every single thought that we have, and we can do it if we want to. We are powerful, immortal, conscious energy. Nothing can stop you but you. That's it. And that's where I am. And this is where I'm going. And so I offer anyone that doesn't have a space to try these practices, just go into a pitch black room and just sit there with yourself. Lock your ass up in solitary before they do. Okay? You lock yourself up in solitary, disconnect from the matrix. Just sit in a dark room and deal with your shit and sort it out. There's no distractions. There's no light. There's no sound in many cases, depending on where you are, and deal with your shit and make it right with yourself and fall in love with yourself, even your shadow self. Because you just labeling it shadow self, but that's you. That's a part of your energy. You just got low vibrating emotion connected to those frequencies, which is weighing that energy down. But that's you. That ain't no goddamn devil. That's you. You have to deal with those emotions that's weighing that energy down, that's portraying as your shadow being self. Some of the stuff you like, deal with it. If you like it and you're not willing to let it go right now, then let it stay there. But just know that's what's weighing you down. You see? That's what's weighing. Deal with it. And once you deal with all of these emotions and low vibrating frequency fields that you created from your thoughts and your emotional body, once things start getting back into alignment, you'll notice that it's easier for you you'll become light in frequency and vibration. You'll become light as a butterfly. And you'll notice when you start to meditate, your consciousness and your energy and your emotional body and your astral body, they're being activated. And if you've been watching us and you've been in the sun, right, and you stop drinking tap water, right, and you start growing your own food that has live foods that's sitting in that sun, you'll just float right out of this body. You just float right out. You just float right out. This ain't no gift what I have when people say I ain't gifted. I'm putting in the work. I'm sacrificing. Even though sometimes I go in right back up in my root chakra, I'm okay with that. I was in my root chakra this morning. I'm honest with it. It is what it is. But I can get out. How do I get out? Focus breathing. Return back to the void. Breathe. Let my frequency rise above. It takes work. It's mental. It's mental. It ain't physical. It's mental. Those who have the ability to control their thoughts, you powerful. Those who take back their mind from the system, you powerful. You unstoppable. Those who know that you are mentalism, that you reside in the mentalism of the divine presence of everything, can't nothing stop you. You can create your own realities. You can create money, but here's the problem, and I'll let you go. Here's the problem with creating money that I run into. We're creating something that's already been created, right? How can I explain this? You can create money, you can attract money, right? But you're still in the fucking system. You get what I'm trying to say? That's snatched the identity of all of us conscious beings. We're still feeding the system by creating this money, this fucked up Federal Reserve money that's enslaved billions of souls. We're just creating something that they create. We're adding to their creation, is what I'm trying to say. I can create money, but here's where I am, ladies and gentlemen. I have the ability to create money from the non-physical realms. But this is what I'm dealing with now. Some of you are different levels. As fast as I create it, these motherfuckers take it. So I'm finding myself now in this process of me manifesting money. Is here for me and it's gone as fast as I'm creating it. And it's causing me to be very unstable in all my ways of being this. I'm very unstable from playing this magic game of manifesting money. We can manifest money. I do it all the time. I haven't worked outside of my home in years, but I'm still unstable. And I had to just sit back and say, well, damn, D, what the fuck is wrong with you? And once again, it's this money shit. Well, I ain't working. I ain't in the matrix. And my higher self say, you are actually adding to the matrix by creating currency, which enslaves people in the matrix. People are working their hands, their bones and hands to the marrow. And this is not a good and a bad thing. Once again, it is what it is. We have a system that is in place that has enslaved the masses for billions of years. This shit has been going on for billions of years. It's so bad, ladies and gentlemen, that they've wiped out, or at least tried to wipe out, a lot of the history that we don't even know about. They've wiped out so many genocides of races and civilizations that were here before us. It's just they finding shit in the bottom of the ocean now, technology that they don't even know how to turn on. That's what they doing over in Syria. That's the beef between Russia and Syria and all of the countries meeting over there in the water. They finding technology that defies all logic. That's where we are. So I share with you the only space that I can go to where I don't care two flying fucks about the government. It's my own non-physical space that I create in my imagination based on my will and my desire and the things that make me happy. And you know what's going to make you happy? Being connected. Peace and love.